I never have to go back to a day job again.
How much commission have you made since starting TikTok Shop over the last year?
So it has been 1 year since like my first video, and I'm fast approaching the 3 million mark on GMV. Commissions, I have made over $500,000 in commission. This guy that I dated had TikTok and he was showing it to me, and I was like, oh, I always thought it was just for kids.
Welcome back to another episode of the Social Army Podcast. I have a very special guest with us today, and I'm super excited to get her on stage with you. Her name is Brooke, but before we dive into that, I do want to give a couple of quick disclaimers about anything and everything that we talk about on this show. We are not financial advisors, so nothing that we talk about here in regard to income or the way that we utilize the money that is earned is financial advice, so please do not take that as such. Two, the results that you see in a lot of these episodes that we host are not typical results. Now, that does not mean that they are impossible to attain. They are just not your typical results. So please do be aware that this is not some sort of a get-rich-quick type of pursuit to get into, okay? This is a very, very lucrative opportunity if treated as such and done right. So just keep that in mind. Now, before I get Brooke on stage, I do want to let you guys know that this woman is absolutely amazing in what she's been able to achieve within TikTok Shop as a whole. And she actually used to be a furniture artist, if you can even begin to fathom what that might mean. And when she got to telling me about that, I was genuinely surprised, but then it clicked because I've seen it done before, and I thought that was absolutely amazing. And for her to go from that, along with working in the corporate world, to now discovering TikTok Shop and its affiliate program and becoming a full-time content creator is an achievement all on its own. So without any further delay, Brooke, if you will.
Hi, thanks, Bryce.
Hi.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm in my 50s, so I have a really vast background, and I've reinvented myself a number of times. That's what I do. I get bored. I change things up. So I have a really extensive background in the corporate world. I worked in like sales and marketing support. So I supported sales marketing efforts for large corporation. And I also own my own business. In sales, I had my own like vintage market, and as you mentioned, I was a furniture artist, which yes, that's actually a thing. It's like I would say furniture painter, but it's so much more than just paint. It's a huge industry of products, and so I taught people. I created content online, teaching people how to paint furniture and flip furniture, like the business of flipping furniture. And then I had spaces at antique stores and such, and then I opened my own little vintage store, and then I had an e-commerce business. So I have a really pretty extensive sales and marketing background, which has kind of led me to where I am today, I guess, with TikTok Shop. And I've done a little bit of affiliate marketing in the past, but it was more just for my own business, kind of working with some partner brands. And but I did more like I was the seller, I drove people to my website through my content. So.
That's awesome. And, affiliate marketing and sales, I mean, they just kind of go hand in hand, right? When you're doing a business like you were, where you were teaching other people how to do the same thing you were doing, it's nice to be able to utilize the affiliate opportunity that you have with some of those brands to, get a small kickback back from the products that they're purchasing through you anyway. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
That's pretty cool. Now, with TikTok Shop, what got you into this whole arena of things, right? I mean, it's a little bit different from what you've been doing in the past, but you've found massive success with it.
Yeah, well, I joined TikTok. I went through a divorce. I was married for 20 years and we were together for 27. And in 2000, I left the marriage and I moved from California, where I had lived my entire life, to Idaho by myself. And I wanted a fresh start. I just wanted to start my life over somewhere new. And, it was a really tough time, and COVID hit and all that. But I went through my divorce, and then I started dating. This guy that I dated had TikTok, and he was showing it to me, and I was like, oh, I always thought it was just for kids, but he was showing me some of the stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. So I started doing TikTok videos just to kind of connect with people. Because I was so alone in Idaho by myself and going through this, had gone through a divorce, and I just did like lifestyle kind of content. I don't know if that's the right word, but I tried to let people know that they weren't alone, like if they were going through a divorce or whatever they were going through. I've also gone through severe depression. And so I just tried to connect with people, and I built this smallish following. I ended up with like 60,000 followers just based on creating content. But then I saw TikTok Shop come along, and I noticed some people were making money. And of course, with my background, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So I really wanted this like walking pad, like a treadmill. But they wouldn't give me a free sample. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to buy it. And then maybe if I link to it and do a couple videos, maybe that'll pay for it. And it did. And then I ended up making like $1,000 commission, like in a few weeks off the treadmill. And I was like, oh, okay. But I was really concerned because I didn't want to upset my, followers, with shop videos. So I really eased into it. Like just did one once in a while. And unfortunately, I almost feel like I kind of wasted a few months of opportunity by worrying about that. But I did care about my community, and I didn't want to bombard them. But then I had a video kind of pop off in September, and I made like $12,000 in September in commission, and I was like, oh, this is legit. Like this is happening. So I just decided to go all in. At that point, I'm like, okay, I'm reinventing myself again. It's like, okay, I did that for 3 years. Now I'm doing this. So then I just kind of started going all in after that.
It's good that you were able to recognize the opportunity that came from it. And, I personally, from what I've seen on your page, it doesn't look like you've stepped away from your entire roots of what you originally started that for, right? You're still helping people out by bringing to their attention what they might need in their life, right? Your content isn't spammy style content, right? One of your best videos I think that we saw, and we actually showcased it inside the Social Army community, was the multi-link video that you have, where you were giving raw, real, honest reviews if you even liked the product or not. And I think that's still very valuable, especially to a lot of viewers who are looking for somebody that's going to give them a real, honest answer instead of just chasing a commission. Yes, you earn money off the video, but that's the whole point of it, right? But you're giving them an honest review and an honest answer as to whether or not you actually enjoy it. And I say this all the time. Your experiences, whether you think they're unique to you or not, they're not. Your experiences are shared with thousands of other people. You just have to put it in front of them in order for them to relate to you, to share that same experience. And when you do that in the right way, you're going to gain a lot of eyes and a lot of viewers and hopefully a lot of sales off of it as well if you hit them within the relatability side. So it's what you're doing is great. And the fact that you were able to discover that TikTok was much more than just a children's app and now it pays for your lifestyle is crazy.
It is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't see it coming. And I mean, you're so right about that connecting, because I've actually, it took me 3 years to get 60,000 followers. I wasn't really that worried about growing followers or anything. I just wanted the community. But now in, 4 or 5 months, I now have like 180,000 followers because of the shop videos. And I'm like, oh, okay, people actually really like these videos because I'm honest, because I'm giving honest opinions, and sometimes I don't like products. And they're in a way, I do feel like I'm sort of helping people. I mean, people do tell me all the time, like I'm helping them save money or, know what to buy or whatever. So there's reward in that too, for sure.
A lot of reward in that, and I think, like you had mentioned, you said you're in your 50s, right?
Yeah.
One of the things too is people tend to listen to the ones that they look up to, right? So you have the authoritarian figure going for you as well. And I tell people all the time, just because you think you're a little bit older and you don't think you can make this work, that's false. You have to play into that. You have to lean into that side of things, right? Because if you came across my For You page telling me, hey, you need this for your wife or your kids or something, I'm probably going to listen to you because you've got the experience over me, right? It's just the way it rolls, and you've really found a way to make it work for you, and I love that.
Oh, now, thank you.
I want to ask you something that's slightly off topic, just because I relate to you on something here. You said you're from California. What part of California are you from?
I'm originally from Santa Cruz.
Okay.
But then my family moved to the Sacramento area when I was like a teenager.
Gotcha.
So I spent most of my life around the Sacramento area, outside in the foothills.
I never went up NorCal. The furthest NorCal I ever went was Mammoth, but I'm from the Inland Empire area, San Bernardino, Riverside, Redlands, down in that little neck of the woods. I love when I meet other people from California that move to, desolate places.
Yeah.
We go
You're in Oklahoma, huh?
Yeah. We go from those crazy places to these really slow pace environments, and it's just a culture shock, but that's pretty cool.
It's a different world.
It is. That's funny. So real quick, I'd like to ask you if you're comfortable with it, if you wouldn't mind sharing how much GMV and how much total sales and how much commission have you made since starting TikTok Shop over the last year?
So it has been 1 year since like my first video, but like I said,
Okay.
the first several months, I really didn't work it hard at all. But I made like a couple $1,000s a month commission the first, throughout that summer,
Mm-hmm.
spring and summer. But then September is when it really started hitting, and then October, it's just climbed since. And I'm fast approaching the 3 million mark on GMV.
Golly.
Probably by the time this airs, I might be there by the end of this month for sure. And commissions, I have made over $500,000 in commissions.
My goodness. Congratulations. That is absolutely insane.
It's insane. I can't, even as I'm saying it, I'm like, holy freaking
All off
shit.
of TikTok, an app that everyone thinks is for kids. And you're out
Yeah.
here making a living that would take some people 10 years to make in half a year's time in all reality. Because you said you really
Yeah.
started pumping out in September. That was 6 months ago.
Yeah. And I mean, really, like I started pumping out, but I really kicked in around early November. I wanted
Right.
that Q4 money, man. I wanted that holiday money, and so
It followed you. Hey, he found it.
I got it. It worked. Yeah, I was working my tail off, but yeah, it's
Wow.
insane to me, honestly. But you know what? I mean, like I said, I'm in my 50s. I've worked hard my entire life, and it isn't like a fluke because it happens that the TikTok shop it's a perfect fit for me because it takes all the experiences that I've had, all the skills that I have, the natural abilities, the instincts, the strategy. It takes everything I've learned and done over years and years and years. And like, oh my God, I found the perfect platform and the perfect, you know, way to turn this, to monetize this. And I mean, I'm still completely in shock by how well I've done, but it's like, it's about damn time.
And you've done extremely well with it too. Being able to take that real world experience that you had from the corporate world, being in sales, having all of that, and then learning how to create content as well through your e-commerce store and doing all that other stuff is an extremely important skill set. And it's one of the things that I tell people all the time why I feel people like myself, people like you who have that experience in the past seem to excel in this so quickly. We're those unicorns, right? That everyone sees. They're like, oh, well, you found success super fast. Well, you have
Right.
to understand, it wasn't that we found success really fast by picking up something brand new that we were unfamiliar with. We were able to pick up something that incorporated all of our prior skills in terms of sales, in terms
Right.
of content creation and things like that, and make it work. Because
Yeah.
that's all this is an accumulation of skills that you have that you're putting together to make work for you. And if you
Exactly.
don't have those skills, you have to learn them. And that takes time.
Exactly. Exactly. And a pinch of luck for sure. I'm not going to deny that.
Oh, 1,000%. I'll never say
Big
luck
pinch.
is not involved. Luck is
Yeah, there's
100%.
definitely with TikTok. It's like I don't even set goals with
Right.
TikTok Shop because I don't feel like it's in my control. TikTok is going to do what it's going to do. Sometimes it's crazy. So there's definitely that element of luck. But yeah, learning and just some people could get very lucky and not have the kind of background with sales and marketing and content creation and just get really lucky. And it happens all the time, I'm sure. But yeah, just like you said, I just don't want to downplay like the background and everything that goes into like what we do.
100%. And you're right. People do get lucky sometimes, right? People get really
Yeah.
lucky. And then others also learn really quickly, which is a good
Yes.
thing. But for some other people, it's difficult to talk to a camera. Like, yes, right now I'm speaking to you, right? But you're not in front of my face. If I want to look at you directly, I'm looking into a lens. That's not a person. And that is
Right.
so difficult for some people to pick up and do because it's
Yeah.
just not natural.
Right.
And you overthink, you don't know what to say, you don't know how to react, you don't know how to convey emotion. And a lot of people, too, are terrified to put their face on the internet. And believe me, I understand that. I get
Yeah.
that. I didn't want to be on the internet for the longest time. And then finally, I started posting videos with my face and showing the expression that I have. And holy crap, it's like a switch flipped and everything started working for me. But people,
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you look like. People want to see that. Tonality, body language is everything, especially in sales.
Yeah. Well, I've always been comfortable in front of the camera. For my business, I used Facebook. And when Facebook Live was introduced, I was immediately on it. I was like, oh, okay, let's try it. So I'm like one of the early adopters of Facebook Live. That's how old I am. It's okay. It's good. I've always been just kind of like a performer. I used to be in a rock and roll band. I used to front a rock and roll band. And so I used to sing and play guitar. Look at you. I know. Yeah, it was more like a punk band, if I'm being honest. It was like a punk and roll.
We're not
Yeah.
going to skip past that here. We're not going to skip past that here. You got to give me some more details. I absolutely love that. That explains so much about your personality, too. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I started a band when I was 40 years old. I had picked up my first guitar when I was 39. And I was like, I'm a late bloomer. Better late than never. I took guitar lessons. I learned how to play guitar. I immediately bought an electric guitar. I was an electric guitar girly. I sang a little bit, not great, but you don't have to sing great to sing in a punk band. So you just have to have good musicians around you. And that's what I had. I could play my 3 chords and I could sing a little bit. And we stormed the Sacramento music scene and played gigs and all that stuff.
I'm blown away. I mean, the fact that it makes so much sense to me that was you, it's crazy, but I'm blown away. Like, that's amazing. If Amber catches wind of this, she's going to flip. Amber loves music like that.
Really?
She's her and her husband are huge fans of music. And I think Amber would lose her mind if she found out you were in a punk rock band.
She's going to, because she's going to watch this, right?
She is. I'm going to let it catch her by surprise. I'm going to tell her that there's a little Easter egg in there that she has to go watch for.
Okay.
Oh, that's incredible. I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So performing is in my blood, yeah.
Yes.
If you want to call it, I don't know what I call TikTok shop performing, but in a way it kind of is, right?
It is. I mean, you're performing for people, right? Because, you can't just get on there and be bland and plain. You've got to let your personality shine through. And you do a really good job at that.
Thank you. A lot of the feedback I used to get when I taught furniture painting was that I was real. They liked that I was real. Like, I would be going live and I'd be drinking a drink and I'd burp and I'd cuss and I do all that stuff. I don't burp on TikTok shop, but I've thought about it. but I do cuss. And I'm just real. I'm like, I have no filter and I have a big mouth. For the first time in my life, it's working in my favor because it does not work in corporate.
Yeah, corporate can punish you for it sometimes. You've got to be corporately correct, not politically correct.
I hated that. I hated the corporate world so much, and I suffered through it for so many years. I never have to go back to a day job again.
No.
Never.
No,
thanks to TikTok
don't.
Shop.
And the crazy thing about this is it teaches a skill that lasts for years, right? Even if TikTok does go away tomorrow, you have the skill to create good quality, high quality UGC content that can go across all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat. You have the ability to grow that following across every single social media platform that's out there, because social commerce, which is what this is the future. So
yeah, for sure.
This gives you that foot in the door to any platform that exists. Maybe the growth might take a little bit more time because TikTok does have a unique opportunity for explosive growth, unlike really any other platform. But the skill set, the knowledge, and everything is there, which is such a good thing.
It is for young people. I'm too tired to start over again.
You've done it, though. I mean, you've made it work. The fact that you went out and learned how to play guitar at 38, 39 years old, 39. And then started a band
at 40
is wild to me. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, there I was, 40 years old, married, and playing clubs and being out in these shady clubs till 2 a.m. It was not my scene, but I just love music so much. I don't like bars, but I love music. So
I feel it. And in the atmosphere there when you're playing that music is great. I'm not a big bar person either. I don't like to go out and drink. I don't like to go out and party. But if I go out, when we were in Los Angeles a couple of months ago, it was me, Amber, Garrett, and Kaylee. We went to this little bar that was down there by the airport, and they had live bands. And, we weren't really drinking or anything, but we just went in and we sat there for, I think, like an hour and just listened to the music all night. But it was great. They played a variety of genres. It was kind of all over the place. Blues to old school rock to kind of some sort of funk or whatever they had going on. But it was fun. It was nice. And I really do enjoy that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Moving on from the wild band days of Brooke, I would
I
like to.
shocked you.
You sure did. That was crazy. I would like to kind of get a glimpse of some of the achievements that you've been able to achieve since doing TikTok Shop. What do you think is your most viral video or your most viral style product, or what do you think has driven you the most success in terms of making money on here?
Well, I have the ability to link to multiple products, which not everybody does. And, I'm extremely grateful for that because that has been my entire thing. With product reviews, I talk about products I like and the products I don't like. And that builds trust with people. Of course,
Yes.
I'm not trying to build trust. It's just, I'm just being honest. And in the process, it's building trust.
Yep.
So I think I've established, sort of a brand where I start most of the videos almost the same way. I have a few different openings, like an opening. It's almost like a hook, but it's the same thing like over and over again. The same kind of content style and format. And I infuse my personality, I infuse my sense of humor, and I'm just real and out there and try to be myself as much as possible. And of course, strategy, so much strategy. That's what people don't understand. Every video has strategy built into it. And then I pretty much close videos about the same way every time too. So I think that helps with the people that do follow me, even though a lot of it ends up in the FYP. But then people follow me from the FYP and they see the same things over and over and they know what to expect. But my biggest success is December. I made $146,000 commission.
In
December.
31 days. That's insane. I
know.
want to do the math here. You said 146?
I have never told anybody that.
Ooh, you averaged $4,700 a day in the month of December.
Crazy.
My goodness.
I'll tell you what. March is looking pretty freaking good, though.
Okay, don't let up that momentum. Keep it going.
No.
I'm over here. I got a wooden desk. I'm knocking on it for you. Keep it going because, man,
Yeah.
and it always seems to find the right people, I feel like. You've got such a very real and bubbly and happy and outgoing personality. Regardless of the things that you've kind of gone through in the past as well, you've got it going for you, right? And it's just, I feel like you attract what you put out. And, me and Amber and Kaylee, we always talk about manifestation and things of this nature.
Yes.
And that's a huge part of, I think, why the people who are extremely successful with this are that way, whether they even think they're doing it or not. You're just constantly putting out good energy to it. And it's just coming right back to you every time. And you're being raw, you're being real, you're being honest, you're being unapologetically yourself. And it works.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so glad that I can just be myself for the first time. I mean, when I had my own store, I could obviously be myself in my own e-commerce business, to an extent. But, years and years of working jobs in the corporate world and everything. And like, what's that? Like square peg, round hole type of deal. Like, I hated it. It made me literally sick. And so... like if this ends tomorrow, like I'm good. I've got money in the bank now, and I can retire. I mean, if that's what I've been wanting is just that security. Like I literally had a day job. It was I hated it. Just going into November and December, I quit like 3 or 4 days before Christmas. Because they made me start doing work. Like I was hired to do this job, and I work from home. And they were supposed to train me, and they were too busy to even train me and this and that. So I went like 2 months doing nothing for this company. And then all of a sudden they had work for me to do. I'm like, I can't, I'm too busy.
Yeah. The fact that you stayed with them as long as you did, though, until that far is crazy to me.
I know, but November and December were so special because November I made $77,000. Yeah, I was already thinking about leaving, believe me. But then I was able to do both for a little while. But then when it became obvious that I couldn't, I was like, bye.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you at all. People thought I was crazy. 15 days into me finding success with this, I quit my job. I had a secure job. I was a finance manager. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this. It's taking up too much time. If I want to succeed with this, I have to do this full time. And here we
Yeah.
are, 4 days shy of being exactly 1 year since the day I quit.
Wow.
I'm still not looking back. So good for you for
No. Well,
doing
you
that.
had faith in yourself, and
I did.
that's really important. And you saw an opportunity and you jumped on it.
You got
That's
to though. An
yeah.
opportunity knocks very quietly, and it's up to you
Yes.
to take it if you don't. And if not,
Yes.
you miss it.
For sure.
Excuse me. So, for any of the viewers out there watching today, what are some of your best viral tips or strategies or any sort of advice that you may have for people who might be struggling to find their way with this?
One of the things I think people don't talk about enough of is working with brands that boost your videos, that
Okay.
run ads on your videos. So I have, and it takes a while to get to know. Doesn't happen overnight, but by now I've got I don't know 7 or 8 brands that I work with that run ads on my videos, and so I know that's part of the strategy. Like if I do this, product review, one of those products is going to be this brand because I know they're going to boost my videos, right?
Mm.
So they're going to run ads on my video. For people who don't know, the brands will put money into running ads on your video so it gets seen by more people, and it doesn't cost me anything. I get more money. So that's a
Right.
really important strategy for me. Maintaining those relationships, developing and maintaining those relationships with brands. And, the number one thing, there's two. One is just to be authentic. Just be
Yes.
authentically yourself. Don't try to be something you're not, and it's not for everybody either. Like you may kind of just realize like, this just isn't for me. Or, there's lots of opportunities. If you don't like being in front of the camera, you can do faceless videos. There's lots of opportunities. So I'm not trying to discourage you, but just be authentic and be real. I shouldn't say, okay, there's this show with Megan, who, the princess,
Yeah.
whatever, right? And she's getting so much flack right now. And I feel bad for her because she's doing this show on Netflix where it's so fake. It's so fake. And
Mm.
everybody sees right through it.
Yeah.
Come on. She's not out there getting honey from, bees nests and whatever. Come on. So it's about
Right.
being real and authentic, and people can see right through it if you're not. And the other
Mm-hmm.
thing is just always be learning. I'm always learning. I took a class today, Jake's class on the Social Army Discord. His classes are awesome. I'm
They are.
always
It's
learning. I
very
probably
informative.
spend, 5 hours a week learning or something. If you're don't feel like making a video, get onto the Social Army Discord. And, there's so many things in the Social Army, especially where like learning opportunities and, just looking at other people's TikTok videos and studying them and taking notes and mental notes. I do all that all the time, every day. So,
You have to. You have to always be learning. You're
yes.
never going to learn it all, right? Sales is one of those
No.
industries where, and that's exactly what this is. This is sales. Sales is one of those industries where you're never going to learn it all. There's never an end all be all to the amount of techniques that you can have, the amount of ways of talking, the ways of showing emotion, the ways of conveying tonality. There's never enough to learn within all of that, right? You can pick something up from someone who's a total beginner, who may just give you a different point of view than what you're normally used to seeing. Or you can pick something up from a dude that's been doing it for 80 years in the car business and no longer does anything, right? It's there's always things to be learning within this industry. And the cool thing about what we do at Social Army is we host those classes for people to go in and learn. Right? We want you guys to get as much information as possible. I don't care if you're the top affiliate in TikTok Shop. There's probably somebody in there that you're going to catch something from that you might implement in your next video that might help you make some money.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, I took one of Jake's classes 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about like viral hooks and stuff, and he showed a video with this hook, and I immediately connected with that hook. I was like, oh my God, that's so good. And I knew exactly what I was going to use it for immediately. So I took that hook and did a video, and it did very well. And I've made thousands of dollars from that
Yeah.
already. And it's going to continue to make me money. One class, 1 hour, one video,
And just the
because of
hook.
just the hook. Well, and what I learned from Jake and
Right.
Social Army.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. So when did you join Social Army, by the way, Brooke? How long have you been with
It
us?
was maybe a couple months ago. It
Mm-hmm.
was right before the TikTok Shop ban.
Ah, okay.
And that's why I joined Social Army, because I was so alone out here. And I was like, they're
Yeah.
going to ban TikTok. I'm like, really, all I was hoping for at the minimum was like a 3-month extension,
Yeah.
because I knew in 3 months I could make enough money where I'd be okay. But yeah, I was feeling so alone, and so I joined Social Army and got into the Discord, which I'm not a high tech person. I'd never been in a Discord before, and I had a lot of trouble getting signed in. And your people did not give up on me. They walked
Good.
me through it. They followed up with me. They helped me, and I got in. I was like, oh, thank you so much. And yeah, I almost quit because I was like, I don't get it.
Discord is
But
so confusing, and we are doing everything we can to make it not. Their platform's
well,
rough.
your team did an amazing job of not giving up on
Good.
me. So yeah, so then I found this community where I could. Other people were talking about the ban and this and that, and I felt like I was no longer alone. It was it was great. It's been amazing, and the learning opportunities through Social Army are just incredible. Through your website, your record, you can view past recordings. I've consumed
Yes.
all of your content, all of it.
That's crazy.
It's
That's
always
crazy.
be learning. Always be learning.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And there's so much content to consume too, between all of
Yeah.
the podcast episodes that we've done, between all of the course material that we put out, between all of the past recordings that we have. There is literally a topic for everything. Hell, we've even had TikTok themselves from the health and wellness category come in and do a masterclass on violations because people were getting so many violations. And we have that's a recording in the WAP, which
Yeah.
is where all the course material is held, which is, there's so much to consume. And it's crazy. Social Army is not even a year old, by the way. We turn a year old on the 28th of March. So in just a couple of weeks, we'll be 1 year old. The amount of content and the amount of knowledge and wealth, for lack of a better term, because that's exactly what knowledge is. It's wealth. That's to be shared and found with inside this community and inside the course material we have is
Yeah.
unmatched. It's crazy.
It really is. It's impressive. I was a corporate trainer for a long time also. And I was a teacher. I told you I reinvent myself a lot. I taught adult education classes. And so I know a good program when I see it.
Yes,
I know good
ma'am.
content when I see it. And yeah, you guys are amazing,
We
truly.
appreciate that. Truly, we appreciate that because sometimes we look down on ourselves and like, what are we doing?
No.
We need to be better. But no,
Oh
it's
my God, no. And not to mention the support. My God, your people, and I'm, 20, I don't know how many years older than most of you all, but I just feel so welcomed and accepted. And everybody is just so kind and giving and generous and supportive.
the premise of our community when we originally built it and kind of launched it was to get away from, and not that this is a bad thing, right? I'll never knock anybody else. I'll never knock another community. I'll never knock somebody else's way of life, right? But we wanted to get away from the fast-paced Lamborghini bro style lifestyle, right? Sure, that kind of stuff is cool. But when we launched this and when I co-founded this with my partners, I'm not that guy anymore. If I was 21, 19, 20 years old and I didn't have any kids, that may have been a different route, right? But I've got 4 children. I wanted to create something that was sustainable for my family, and I wanted to teach that sustainability to other people who were in my position. So we were trying to chase a little bit more of that mature demographic, which I think we've done a very good job at capturing and really welcoming everybody in. I didn't want this to be a place where people would come in and be judged for the questions they asked, regardless of how repetitive it was, or regardless of how simple it may have sounded to that individual. I wanted it to be answered, point blank, period. I don't care if I have to answer the same question 15 different times in a row, it's still going to get answered, right? But we wanted to make a place that felt welcoming, and felt very, very comfortable for all walks of life, whether you're young trying to figure this out, whether you're older trying to figure this out, whether you've got 5 kids and you don't know what to do to get yourself to pay rent the next month. We want to give you guys a platform, or we wanted to give a platform to help everybody in their respective ways. And I think we've really, really done a good job at that. And
You have. And I looked at other communities before I joined yours, and just none of them just jumped out at me like the way that yours did.
Right. And a lot of these communities, I tell everybody, if you want to join these communities and you want to ask me why I'm better than the next one, I'm not going to give you an answer to that because I can't tell you if I'm better than the next one because I don't know your particular situation. If you come in here and say, hey, you guys suck, but I found better value in this one, great. You probably had a different, your values were probably differently aligned than what we have here. And that's perfectly okay. I'll never knock somebody for that. You know, I was a part of 3 different communities before we launched this one just to try to figure out where I would fit in. And I just didn't find that place. So we built one. And that's just what it is, you know. But I'll never knock anybody or any other community because they're all great in their own respective ways. But sometimes they just don't accommodate everybody in the way that they want them to. That's all.
Exactly.
That's all. So I am genuinely impressed with you, by the way, and everything that you've done in your life. That's absolutely incredible. And I still can't get over the band. I still can't get over the band. I can't wait.
Well, I don't know if I'll let any more details about that one loose, but
That's
they're
crazy.
out there. I'm impressed with you too, by the way.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Sometimes it's a little underwhelming, you know, when you're trying to look at it from your own shoes. You don't really see the impact that you make, but being reminded, you know, by individuals like yourself is always a nice humbling experience. So we appreciate that. I do want to ask you one more thing before we start diving into the end of our segment here. You seem to have found quite a lot of success within the TikTok Shops platform. Have you faced any sort of challenges with this? Or has it been kind of smooth sailing for you for the most part?
I have been very fortunate that I have not faced the violation challenges that a lot of people have.
Lucky.
Yes.
So lucky.
Although I swear it keeps me up at night sometimes when I think about before I ever read the guidelines, okay?
Yeah.
Like I was doing videos way before I ever read the guidelines and I'm like, oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. Oops.
Yeah.
You know, and then those videos are still out there because brands have, because in the beginning I did 365-day ad codes, which is a no-no by the way. But so now I can't even delete those videos, you know, but I think by now they're probably expired. So anyway, the thought of violations definitely is anxiety invoking. But my biggest challenge is, honestly, this may sound trivial, but I have a big challenge with lighting and my house. And I work from home, I work from my house. Right? That's where I make my videos and constantly chasing the house for lighting, you know, like my kitchen looks good from this hour to this hour and this, you know, and I have all the lights in the world, but I feel like I'm constantly challenged with lighting. And that's probably just a matter of not really learning what I need to learn about lighting, I guess. But I think my bigger challenge though is just those days when I have no motivation or discipline, you know, and I'm like literally in one today. And when I'm just like tired of making videos. I'm tired of talking about this product for the 100th time. Or, you know, I walk into my product room and I'm like, what do I want to make videos on
Get
today?
a little overwhelmed sometimes too when seeing all the products around you.
Yeah, you know, and I realized I could have far less products and still be successful, but I really like doing the unboxing videos. I really like the free stuff. Love the free stuff. Okay. I haven't had to buy like anything in so long. But yeah, there's days, and I'm in it right now this week where I'm just like not motivated, not disciplined, barely doing the bare minimum. And, you know, I just force myself to, at least to get 2 videos posted a day, no matter what it takes. But 2's not enough, really. And I know I should be doing 5. And I think back to like November, December when I was doing 5, 6, 7 a day. And I was like, okay, I need to get up earlier. I need to, you know, work harder. But I'm also at the point where, do I though? Do I? I don't know. I do, because you know what? This is the goose that laid the golden egg, and this is not going to be around forever. And I don't want to start over. I don't like YouTube. I can't stand Instagram. I don't want to start over. I don't want to do UGC because I like to play by my own rules.
Yep.
And I don't like anyone else to have to tell me what to do anymore. So I just want to do TikTok Shop and then that's done. So I'm just milking this for as long as I possibly can. And then when it's done, it's done. I'm done.
Yep.
I say now, but who knows, right?
I'm hoping it doesn't ever go away because this is an opportunity of a lifetime. And
I mean, like literally 5, 6 more months, I could have made $1 million.
Yep.
You know,
we just had one of our creators inside the community. He actually started doing this because he came across my lives and my videos and stuff. Just crossed $1 million in commission in 10 months.
Really? Holy smokes.
Yep.
Is
$1
it
million.
Nathan?
No, it's not. Nathan is on his way. My goodness.
He's on his
Nathan
way,
is
isn't
on
it?
his way. No, this gentleman's name is Brandon. And I've done a podcast with him in the past, actually. And at the time I did it, I think he was halfway there. But yeah, he officially crossed that mark. But he's a different breed,
That's,
you know? And
that's
you
amazing.
are right behind him. I mean, you keep going at the pace that you're going, you're going to cross $1 million.
I mean,
Easy
as long
before
as I
summer.
don't get my account banned, and as long as TikTok, right? Or I'm a little worried about this whole cancel culture. People love to cancel people, and like
Yeah.
at some point they're gonna try to cancel me.
We've had people try to cancel Social Army. We've had people try to cancel
Yeah,
me. People see through a lot of those things, and they real will recognize the real within. Right? Nothing about you is inauthentic. So for somebody to try to cancel somebody who's genuinely a real person, it's not going to work. And I can't see that happening to you. Plus, I don't think you post anything out there that's cancelable anyway. All you're doing is giving your raw thoughts and reviews on the products that you love. So you're doing just
yeah.
fine.
It's just one of those
And back of the head
unfounded
type things.
fears. Yeah,
Yeah, I
one of those
get
get
it.
outside your head, Brooke, type of things.
Yeah,
Just
that's great.
there's just few little things like, I could get all of a sudden get slapped with all these violations and that my account's banned, and like I'd have to
That's a
start over
fear that's
again.
constantly running through my head, and I think that's why
Yeah,
I've got 7 different accounts. Because if it
I
does
haven't.
happen, you
Yeah,
don't
I
have any
have one
backup.
backup account, but I don't, and I've got 70,000 followers on that one because it's my old furniture painting account, but I don't do anything with it. But it's there if I need it.
Well, yeah,
I
there's
just,
no need to do anything with it, right? Because if
yeah,
you've got it, and when the time's right,
right.
you'd create good enough content. It's not the page that makes you; it's you that makes you. So you'll be able to make it back out. So worst case, right? I'm not saying anything's gonna happen. I'm knock on wood
Yeah.
over here, but
6 months, man, I would be set for life though.
you will. You got this.
But one more year, oh lordy, one more year, man, come on.
If this goes in the direction that they want it to, it's going to be around for years to come, and this is just the
Sure
beginning.
hope so.
Well, Brooke, I really appreciate your time here today. I've learned some things about you that are wonderful. I've learned some really good insight about how you operate and how you make things work, and it's just refreshing to see somebody as genuine as yourself finding that success and really enjoying every moment of it. Regardless of the little struggles that you may have here and there in terms of motivation and discipline, we all go through that. Creators go through that. There's a thing called creator's block. I
Yes.
made tons of videos on it. I've been in one for probably the last 90 days or so. And
Ooh.
people are starting to ask me what's wrong. And I'm like, well, you know what? I just don't know. I don't know what to
Yeah.
create. I've got all the tools in the world. I've got an
Yep.
entire studio with all the lighting, all the bells and whistles. And
Yeah.
I still come in here and I look at everything. I'm like, I just don't know what to create today. And,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like that. But it happens. And as long as you recognize that it is an issue that needs to be corrected and fixed, you'll get yourself out of it, right? But it's nice to see that we all share the same experiences when it comes to some of those challenges. And
Yeah.
you just got to learn to get past them. And I think you'll climb right out of it. And you're not in a deep one. I don't think you'll remain in a deep one. You're doing just fine. And I am excited to have a part 2 with you when it comes down to you crossing that $1 million mark, if you're open to it.
Oh yeah. I'll be wanting to tell the world. It's trying to tell people how much money you make is really a delicate thing.
It is, especially when they don't understand. And a lot of people, when you tell them about what you're doing with TikTok, I used to get looked at or told that, it feels like you're bragging. I'm like, I'm not necessarily
Right.
trying to brag to you. I'm just trying to
Share.
share with you the opportunity that's there. Hell, I don't even care if you
Yeah.
do it or not. Just know that it
Yeah.
exists, right? And this is what I'm
Yeah.
doing. But some
Yeah.
people they just don't get it, right? And especially, the ones that just don't have that proper mindset. Sometimes it's difficult. So, but
Well,
I want to give you the opportunity here. We are approaching time to throw out any sort of motivational or positive words you may have for any of the viewers out there before we jump off.
anybody can do this, really. But just like kind of be realistic in your expectations. And if you don't put in the work, you're not going to get the reward. It really does take work. And I've been in constant learning mode since day one. I've been, all the successful creators are going to tell you that they're constantly learning. And applying what they've learned and practicing. But it's possible. Everything is possible. I feel like I've won the lottery. It's possible. Just keep trying, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. It's not for everyone, but it might be for you, and you might just have all the luck and success in the world. So just keep trying and keep learning.
That's it. Don't give up too soon.
Yes.
Just to
For
add to
sure.
that, don't give up too
Yes.
soon. A lot of people post 3
Yes.
videos and say, "Oh, this isn't for me."
Right.
Give it a
Right.
shot.
That's not even nearly enough. But see, if you're learning, you're going to know that's not enough. You got to be learning from people who've done it and what they did and what they do, so that you can, put into practice some of those techniques, and then you have the opportunity to be successful.
100%. You've got to be able to put it in practice and give it time to cook, for lack of a better term. Well,
Yes.
outside of that, Brooke, I appreciate your time here today. It has been a wonderful, wonderful episode of the Social Army podcast, and I think that will conclude it today. Guys, if you guys want to check out more episodes and hear more stories from very interesting people like Brooke here, feel free to give us, or feel free to subscribe, hit that button down below. Please give us a thumbs up on this video if you're watching it on YouTube. It helps us get put out further into the algorithm. And if there was one takeaway that you could give in the comment section down below about what you learned from this episode today, I'd love to see it. Drop it down there. We read through every comment on these videos if you're watching on YouTube, and we love to see the feedback that you guys have. Outside of that, if you guys want to join Social Army, we do have a free side of things now. It's called Social Army Freemium. And then we also have our Premium and Live Academy. Live Academy is a little bit more of a focused group mentorship program that teaches you how to be very successful selling live on TikTok. Then you have your premium side, which is the side that we're all a part of, that mainly is where I do my interviews from. So if you guys want to join that or have any curiosity about that, the links down below will be Brooke's links directly. So you will be supporting her if you do decide to join us. Don't forget about that free side. It is very valuable because there is a course that comes attached to that. Outside of that, I will see you guys on the next episode. Brooke, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yes, ma'am. Later, everybody.